And we are live on episode 2 of All Mic'd Up for the 2023 IronBirds season. My name is Michael Marcantonini. I've got IronBirds pitcher Kyle Virbitsky with me. Kyle, on episode 2 of All Mic'd Up, you ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so this is going to be a fun interview because Kyle and I are both Penn State guys. We're both Philly area guys. But before we get into that, Kyle, I want to ask you about being traded in the offseason. You're one of the new guys here in the Orioles organization. You came over in a trade from the Oakland A's organization in the offseason. How are you enjoying your first season with the Orioles?
It's been good. It's been really good. It's definitely been a transition, but I would say being as close as I am to home now, it's kind of been a mini dream come true. You know, my mom and dad have actually gotten to see every start I've made this year.
And the 3-2 from Virbitsky. Breaking ball on the outside corner, a called strike 3. First punch out of the afternoon for Virbitsky. And now the 0-2, swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Kyle Virbitsky.
That's something that I could have never said last year. And so to be closer to friends, to family, and really just like what I'm familiar with. I think I mentioned to you earlier, I grew up kind of playing here actually, doing the Ripken Experience tournament as a kid. I'm only about 45 minutes to an hour down towards Philly. So it's a quick ride up 95 and I'm home. So it's been a little bit surreal to come over here.
I love that. We're going to unpack all that. I want to start with talking about your family though. You told me before the season started that you went from being as far away as possible from home out in Stockton, California last year with the A's, to now in the Orioles system you're as close as you could be to home, less than an hour and a half from the Philly area. What does that mean to you and your family that you are so close?
It's been huge, and especially I've had a little bit of personal stuff going on at home, just my grandma, my dad, a little bit of health issues here and there, and so at this point in my life, probably where like my family needs me at home the most, it's been kind of one of those things that I would almost call divine, like it was God sent. I'm very, very fortunate. I'm very blessed just to be around everybody I love and get to do what I love and show them what I do and to have their support constantly. It's been something I've never really had before. The closest being, when I was at Penn State, it was only 2.5 hours or so, but the travel with that takes you pretty far towards the West. You're in the Midwest all the time playing Michigan, Ohio State, Iowa, etc. And so to be pretty much within 3 to 4 hours from home, almost no matter where we go, it's been really cool.
Well, you talked about the things going on with your family, and I think that's something that the regular fan doesn't always think about, and that's huge for you being close to family this year. How much of a boost is that for you, knowing that when you're on the mound, they're in the stands here?
Well, it's cool because I get to talk to my dad immediately after I'm done pitching about how it went, and all the things that went well, could have gone my way, went bad, but at the end of the day, just to see a familiar face in the stands and know that the people that care about me the most are always around watching. It's been one of those things that I really can't describe. It's really important to me, and to be able to do it right now at probably the coolest part of my baseball journey thus far, it's cool. It's really cool.
That's so cool, man. And one of the things that you told me when you came over in the trade this offseason is that when you found out you were traded, you were in the middle of an offseason program that the A's had put together for you.
Yeah.
So from a baseball standpoint, how did that affect your offseason work going from one organization to another?
Yeah, so it's actually really interesting. For the athletics, I was kind of on a velocity program, doing some stuff away from the mound to try to get a little bit stronger, move a little bit faster, and so coming, very quickly over to the Orioles, I wanted to make a really good first impression, and one of the hardest things that I've kind of transitioned through was that they had to see me when I wasn't on the mound all that much leading up to that point, and so on the flip side of that, it's been really cool because the Orioles are really, really good with player development. I mean, our staff, you probably see it in the dugout, we have almost a 1-to-1 staff-to-player ratio this week here at home, and everybody's mind is pretty much on how can I make Kyle Virbitsky and the other players that we have here better. And so to get to do some of the more important parts of my pitch design and my build up to the season, and I'd say that's a process that's continuing on even into the season. It's kind of one of those things that you never really stop developing. You're always trying to get better, and to get to be with the Orioles guys to work on some of those pitches, to pitch design, to shape some slider work, some fastball work, that's been a really, really good thing. And I think the longer I stay with this process, the more those results are going to start to put themselves together, and it should work out pretty well.
You talk about the player development here in the Orioles system, and that's something that I've picked up on since I've been here calling games for the IronBirds, is that there's a ton of people here just looking to get guys, up to the next level.
Yeah.
3-2, swing and a miss. Got him up top. Back-to-back strikeouts for Virbitsky. It's really cool to see that. Now, you touched on this earlier, getting a chance to pitch here in Aberdeen, across the street from where you played a lot growing up. The Ripken Experience tournaments, playing in that complex across the street. What does it mean to you with this full circle journey, playing over there and now over here?
Yeah, I'll give you a perfect example. I actually just had a really, really close friend of mine. His name's Alex Berman. Come up and visit me, watched me pitch my last home outing. I think it was against Jersey Shore, whoever we had at home that second week. And I played with him across the street probably 6 or 7 times with a team called the Dynamite when I was, 10, 11 years old. And for him to kind of get to watch me do it here and then to go back and, relive some of those memories afterwards, just talking, like, it's really full circle. Like, I don't think there's any other way to describe it than I'm kind of getting to pick back up where a lot of my baseball career and fondest memories started. So it's been a really, really cool trip for me, and I'm just thankful. I'm really thankful to be here.
It's really cool to see, obviously for you and your family, seeing how you've grown from playing across streets and now that you're here. Well, I know I couldn't end this interview without talking about our ties with Penn State.
Yeah.
So obviously we are.
Penn State.
Shout out to the Nittany Lions. You are one of 9 former Nittany Lions representing Penn State in the minor leagues this season. How cool is it for you to do that?
It's really cool, and I think what makes that little Penn State fraternity pro ball players so special is that we're all still very close friends. Just this past offseason, I was with one of my closest friends, Eric Mock, his bachelor party and wedding. I have another one coming up from a kid that played with and then also coached me for 2 years at Penn State. He's working out in Arizona for PBR now, but he's getting married soon. So you see these connections popping up all the time, and to constantly be surrounded by people who are still in baseball, playing, coaching, working, that's what made my experience there so special. And I think it's a big reason why I'm able to do what I do right now. They develop guys. It's almost a lily pad to step onto to then get to pro ball. So I have nothing but a lot of respect and gratefulness for my time at Penn State. I think they prepared me really well to be doing what I'm doing now, and I'm lucky to be in a fraternity of players that are still doing it from that place. So
all love for the Nittany Lions, and I loved calling games up at Medlar Field at Penn State. I mean, you can't beat that view and that atmosphere. Tell me about playing for Coach Rob Cooper at Penn State. Coach Coop's a guy that I know really well, one of the best guys I've met in baseball, so shout out Coach Coop. What was it like playing for him?
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. He's one of the most genuine and best human beings I've really ever played for, and to get to call him a coach, but further, really a friend and mentor. He's been with me through just about every high and low you could go through in college. College, you really develop a lot. You learn a lot about who you are, and you're going through a bunch of different things. It's the first time you're away from home. It's the first time, you don't have a mom and dad to answer to, and so to have a coach that knows that he cares about you more than a player, it's really kind of impactful and kind of empowers me to do what I'm able to do on the field. So I got nothing but really good things to say about Coop, and I'm very thankful to play for him and my time with the Nittany Lions.
I love that, man. So I'm going to wrap up this interview asking you about your brother, who I understand is a pretty good baseball player himself, playing high school ball. He's a catcher. I understand that he catches for you and some other pro pitchers in the offseason. I mean, what is that for, like, getting to throw bullpens to him in the offseason as a professional pitcher?
It's really cool, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention I have a middle brother too, who injuries kind of are keeping him off the field. He's down at Clemson just as a normal student, but he was a catcher as well. Okay. And so I've kind of transitioned from throwing to my middle brother to throwing to my youngest brother. And the last time I really lived at home full time, my youngest brother didn't even come up to my waist. And so to go to college and get drafted and kind of stay out of the house for the last 2 years doing my own journey with pro ball, and to see him just in the short spurts when I come home, when I'm around, like how much he's grown up and how really talented he is at this game, it's incredible. And we were in some pinches this offseason with some of the guys I train with, a couple of big leaguers too, like guys like Justin Topa and Joe Harvey, and really good ball players, and we needed catchers, and my brother Jake was like, hey, sign me up, and he held his own. And I mean, held his own is an understatement. He really, really caught all of us well, and he's had a really good year at the plate for a pretty good Episcopal high school team. They play in a tough conference, and I think he's hitting 4-hole and he catches, so it's really, really good to see him kind of following in my footsteps a little bit, but also paving his own journey. He's a left-handed bat, I throw balls, he hits them, so it's a really, really cool relationship. I'm really thankful and grateful that I get to share what I know and continue to help him in the game.
Yeah, that's so cool, and I can relate on the flip side. See, I was a catcher in my playing days, and my younger brother was a pitcher, so I was catching his bullpens when the last couple of years playing high school ball, so pretty cool to see the family connection there through the game. Well, he's right-hander Kyle Virbitsky. I'm Michael Marcantonini. That'll do it for episode 2 of All Mic'd Up. Kyle, thanks for the time, man.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
It's a wrap.